Hey guys, welcome back to Rod Smoking Stuff. It's a little early in the morning. We got up to cook this choice brisket. Why do I have a choice brisket? Because it's cheap. Now, everybody always says you gotta buy a Wagyu brisket or a prime brisket. Can you make a choice brisket taste good? I've done them before. Yes, they can taste good. This cost me $42, so pretty inexpensive for this piece of meat. This is 14 pounds. Of course, we're gonna trim a bunch off of that. But we're going to take this choice brisket. I'm going to show you how I make it taste good. There's no real secret to it. You just cook it. That was where barbecue started. Just cooking cheap meat and making it taste good. So I'm going to bring you in closer, show you how we trim this up and season it, and we'll get it on the smoker. Alright, so the first thing you want to do, make sure you have a good sharp knife. You want to get in here and trim this off. This isn't going to do anybody any good. I just kind of go a layer at a time so that I don't get too deep there. You're not going to get it all out, but you'll get most of it. If you get it all out, then it forms a big deep pocket there. You don't want that. Go ahead and you can trim the top up here a bit. This is a little thin here on this side, so it's just going to burn up. So we probably want to make a cut about like this. Get rid of this really thin stuff down here. There again, we can save that. Sometimes I just throw it on the smoker and use it for a snack for part way through. Round this off a bit. Probably about all I'm gonna trim here. Maybe a little piece off this. Yeah, just get the big chunks. You can be as picky as you want, but that's as picky as I have patience for this morning. I'm gonna put a cut this way because that's the way the grain's going, so I know to slice this way. Flip this over. And this here, see, is still that's pretty thin on the fat side there. So this isn't going to require a ton of trimming over here. Just this right here is going to require some. Big chunks. If you get down here on this point end, you can take a lot more of the fat off because it's got a lot more intermuscular fat than the point does, or the flat does. That's probably about what we want to do with this thing. Maybe a little bit of this off of here. Cut that piece off, or else it's just gonna burn up as well because it's just kind of hanging out there. It's kind of a slimy piece. Alright, and that's it. That's how we're going to trim this thing today. So now we got to get it seasoned up. First thing we're going to do Worcestershire. Use that as a bit of a binder here, just like so. Okay, and we got some salt and pepper here. Now this is usually I use 1-to-1 salt to pepper. I'm not quite 1-to-1 this time. I went a little lighter on the salt because I've got this hardcore carnivore seasoning that I'm also going to use on this brisket, and it has some salt in it. And so I've come to like this hardcore carnivore, and the reason being is, let's get these edges. The reason being is it's black, and it seems to help with the end product. As far as, I wouldn't say it really forms bark, because that would not happen, but it makes the bark darker, and I just like the looks of it, you know, like how it looks. So anyway, I might have to go get more of that salt and pepper. That used more than I thought it would. Let's see, Worcestershire on this side. And as far as the fat up or fat down cooking, I usually put the fat towards the heat source. So we're probably going to try that this time. I'm going to put that in my hand because it works better. I was trying to do it out of the bowl, but I think we'll probably have enough here. Yeah, we're going to be good. My guesstimation was good enough. It's a little chilly out here this morning. Alright, yeah, we got that covered, all the edges covered. We're good. So now, like I was saying, we got this hardcore carnivore seasoning. I'm going to hit it with that. That's a bit heavy down there. That's okay. Nice and high so you get a good even coat on there. Now we're going to let that sit for just a minute, and then I'll be back. We'll flip it and do the other side. That way that seasoning has time to suck some of the moisture out of that meat and adhere to it. Alright, been sitting for a minute, not too long, about 3-4 minutes is all it takes. We're going to get this side seasoned up. You'll see what I mean about this hardcore carnivore when this thing's done. It just looks good. Alright, so probably want to get these edges a little. Go. This side. This back side a little. All right, that should be it. We're just gonna let this sit for a couple minutes. Like I say, it helps that rub to kind of suck the moisture out and stick to the meat. Let it sit for about 15 minutes, then we're going to put it on the smoker. Alright guys, we've got this heated up to 225. Throw my little scraps on here. Those are going to cook. I'll get to eat them part way through. I got to move them though because they're sitting on my thermometer probe. People say, oh, your thermometer probes are dirty. Yeah, they are. Well, they're not really dirty, okay? Because I throw them in here, this thing gets hot. Anything with Tom is going to be dead. So I don't worry about it too much. So anyway, throw this right here in the middle. I'm going to get it down this end as far as possible because I'm smoking my eyes. So anyway, this thing has the real hot spot right there. So I like to get my briskets and pork butts and stuff down on this end. One complaint I have about this is let's call it smoker. I'm going to put one of these probes in the point right here. One of them thickest part is flat, and we're just going to let it roll. When it gets to about 165, 170, we're going to wrap this thing up in some butcher paper, probably with some Wagyu beef tallow, because that's worked real good for me. And I'll see you back then. We're just going to close this up and let it roll. Alright guys, this beef brisket, we're at 165 degrees. And that's looking good. Our bark's set. You can see this. So we're going to pull this off and we're going to wrap this thing up. What I do to do that, our next process in making this cheap brisket taste good, we got some of this Wagyu beef tallow. You can order this on Amazon. Adds a little bit of moisture to it, a little bit of flavor to it. It's the way to go, just trust me. You get regular beef tallow, it's hard, you gotta melt it before you put it in. But if you get this Wagyu beef tallow, it's soft, so you can just scoop it out. So anyway, I'm going to put this right up on here, I do believe, as best I can. Then, put this on a little bit of this paper's a little short. Hold these in. I'm just going to wrap this up nice and tight. Put it back on the smoker. I wish that was a little longer. I'd like to tuck it underneath there, but we'll stick our probe in there and it'll hold the paper down. So, put that back on. Put our probe back in there. This one in the flat. This one in the point. And that's it. Just gonna let that roll until it gets to about 205, and then this thing will go in for a rest and we'll be ready to eat. Alright guys, so our temperature on our smoker, in the flat we're at 202, in the point we're at 197. So what we want to do, I'm going to show you. I'll put you over here so you can see. You want to take your probe, grab that with, grab one of my gloves, and oh yeah. Okay, this is probe and tender. About 195, you want to start checking, and if that probe just slides in and out like if you were cutting through butter, you're done. So this is done. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with it now. Move you over here. So what I do, I just take a regular towel like this. You take the towel and wrap it up in there. Off it comes. And you can stick it in a cooler if you're going to rest it longer. If you put it in a cooler, you can rest this thing for 6-7 hours. It'll still be warm when you pull it out. But we're gonna eat before that, so we're just gonna rest this thing for probably looking an hour, maybe two, probably 2 hours. Yeah, 2 hours, and we'll be eating. So anyway, I'm just gonna put this on the counter in this towel, and it's going to stay plenty warm until we're ready to eat. The towel will suck up any of the moisture that's coming out and also help to insulate it to keep it warm. Alright guys, after almost 10 hours, we're ready to cut into this brisket. You can see it's still piping hot, and it's been sitting out on the counter almost 2 hours. Let me get that out of our way for a minute. I'm gonna unwrap this thing. I found the easiest way is usually just to tear it open. It's a little cold out here today. Snowing all day, raining. It's been kind of crazy. We're gonna have a mess here because I got juice going everywhere. Stuck the paper there. Get this paper out of here, and then I'll bring you in closer while we cut this thing up. All right, let's get a couple slices off this and then get it inside before we get. Turn that around. I can't cut it that way. Get it inside before it all cools down. Oh yeah, that has a beautiful bark on it. This is the slice I want right here. Let's see how we did. Oh yeah, the perfect pull. Perfect pull. Pull it apart, guys. Oh, look at that. Look at that smoke ring. Unreal. Unreal, guys. That's a cheap brisket. Tastes really good. Really good. Let's try this. Little bend test. Look at that. Good stuff. Take a cheap piece of meat, cheap brisket, not prime, not Wagyu, make it taste that good. It's definitely worth it. So anyway, let's do this. I want to cut into that point. Oh yeah, look at that. Look at that. All that fat rendered away. Dang. It's a good looking brisket, guys. I mean, like I say, you better try a piece of that. That point. Look at that, how juicy that is. Oh man, I gotta get this inside and share it. Maybe I should just eat it all. Dang. If you like what you see, give us a thumbs up and a like. We're gonna go eat. We'll see you on the next one.